I just want to point out that Nandi is a very gorgeous woman. Very, very gorgeous. Everything is in position and very smart too. Very calm, very demure. So this is not an attack to her. If anything, I feel like I was so much in love with the image of her than what has transpired, because in as much as the video was very short for it to bring so much uproar, there are many things that came up about her marriage, her life, the type of person that she is that I wish that I didn't know. But I am going to give grace to her. If anything, if I'm going to give grace to someone, I'm going to give it to her. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Lynn. Today I'm going to be talking about the controversial video that is making rounds on social media of Nandi Madida's interview, or a segment of it. I saw a part of the interview first on Facebook, and this is where Nandi is talking about how she does not like social media discourses between men and women, which I mean, I fully agree because they're annoying and they really get us nowhere. It's always about men are better, women are better, we are good people, they're not. Later on the same day, I went on to X to see that there is another video that was making rounds, and this one, she was talking about how black men need to be given grace by black women.
I do. Here, I have to advocate in a very genuine way. Seriously, our black men have gone through so much. And financially, it is almost impossible to try empower yourself, even when you try. You know, the system's against you. You know, people don't have support from the government. You have 400 years of being, oppressed. Where is this money going to come from? You know? And so we do have to give our fellow black men grace. And if you can see, the intention is to do better, and make someone something serious. That's a good guy.
Yeah.
And I mean that genuinely. I always say that, like, yo, black men, particularly, I'm going to speak about South Africa because I'm proudly South African. Yo, you guys are up against so much.
And like I think it's interesting because we never have these conversations. And the rhetoric and the narrative out there is like, yeah, I am not Bob the Builder. I'm not building any man. And we're not saying take a guy that's a bum, that has no vision, that has no ambition, and make him your man. But it's like everyone is still working on themselves. I think we judge each other like very harshly. We're looking for people who are already made or who are like already perfect. And I think that's why there's so much miscommunication between males and females.
In this video, I just want to map out as to how people are so quick to say that it was taken out of context and that we were not supposed to actually make it bigger than it was. And I just want to also say that I don't think that she's wrong, but I also don't think that she's right. So two things can be true. Men started saying things like protect this woman at all costs. The purple gang is going to be upset, because they knew deep down that what she was saying was not entirely true. So with that, I'm just going to start by stating why some of what she's saying is true. I don't think that she was using the right word. I don't think that she should have used the word grace. And this is not to say that she made a mistake. I actually believe that she knew exactly what she was saying or what message she was conveying. I don't believe it one bit that maybe it was taken out of context or she is dumb. I actually think Nandi is a very smart woman, and I think that the better word to use would have been acknowledgement, or to acknowledge. Because yes, even though men have the privilege of being the patriarchs and they have the benefits of being taken seriously as men and being taken in as first preference when applying for jobs and having higher salaries, so forth. They are still in a system that only has given them a chance to apply themselves like in a competitive field with other races of men. It's only happening now, and especially here in South Africa where there was apartheid, which didn't enable them to actually be in positions of having these big opportunities to better their lives. A lot of black men come from disadvantaged communities, and sometimes it goes deeper because they don't have the proper infrastructure, water supplies, electricity. It goes like there are levels to it. Not everyone is experiencing the same thing, but in the grand scheme of things, a lot of them do not have the resources to actually better their own lives, because whenever they make it or they become a little successful, they need to think of the people back home. They need to think of their siblings that they need to help out, their cousins that they need to help out. So you cannot succeed alone, and you have to also pay things like black tax. You also have to consider that other people need to be educated so that the overall family can be successful and you don't need to carry things on your own. Quick one. Black women from disadvantaged backgrounds are also going through the same thing, where they need to pay black tax and put others through school and so forth. So I just needed to clear that up. I'm not saying that men are doing everything. There are women who are educated. There are women who are making something of themselves.
We are breeding a generation of weak men.
And so we do have to give our fellow black men grace.
When she went on this podcast and told South African women that they need to give black men more grace, especially when it comes to money, pressure, provision, Nandi, that sounds very nice until you actually think about it. Because here's the problem. Black women are broke too. Black women are stressed too. Black women are expected to provide, nurture, hustle, survive without speeches of grace. So when a wealthy Nandi Madida comes through and says, let's be more understanding of black men, the question becomes, at whose expense? Because grace in real life is not free. Someone pays for that. If a man can't provide, someone else will step in. If a man is not ready, someone else will. If a man is still finding himself, someone has to carry those bills, the kids, the emotional weight, and that usually is a woman.
It is basically the importance of everyone as a whole moving up and forward. But it is problematic when that responsibility lies on one person who is successful, thus not being able to build their own little lives and build their own little families and provide for the women that are in their lives. In that regard, I do fully agree with Nandi that there needs to be an understanding that you cannot expect so much from black men when they're also trying, and they also have other responsibilities outside of you and the relationship. And it is very hard when everything falls on you and you also come and you apply the pressure on him to make you happy, to impress you and buy you all these things that they cannot afford only because they have other things to worry and stress about. So while I do acknowledge that she is right in this regard, there are some things that we really need to talk about, and it is the other parts where I'm just like, I don't really agree with her. It is a clip that is under 3 minutes, but it pissed off a lot of people. And yes, we can say that women were overreacting. I do think that, you know what, in some instances, I really feel like we should have not paid mind to it. And ironically enough, Nandi is saying that she doesn't like the discourses between men and women on social media. the black men and women, to be specific, on social media. It's ironic that this video is what caused so much controversy and made us start squabbling with each other. So I find that very funny. But this whole grace thing there is very little truth to it, because we're not really paying attention to the other things or the other side of what men need grace for. I see time and time again a lot of men saying that we are obviously talking about the good men, the men that are not abusive, the men that do not ill-treat women, the men that are trying. Yes, it is very clear in Nandi's video, and also Nandi's video. I just want to make it clear. She is talking about dating. She is talking about finance. So I don't know why we are trying to, beat about the bush and talk about other members, like in the family or our friends. But the whole story about they talking about good men and men who are trying, not a lot of men are trying. Not a lot of men are showing up in other ways outside of money, or want to show up in other ways outside of money. And this is the issue. If a lot of women are complaining that they have given men grace, then what are the probabilities of finding a good man to a man that is terrible? I think that it is more terrible men than there are good men. Hence, we have so many advices on how to not be manipulated by men and all these things. Good men do exist, but there are not a lot of good men in society, if we really keep it honest. You see it evidently in how a father will tell their daughter they're not going to date until they are 30, and they lose their minds if they find out that their daughter started dating. The daughter sort of needs to hide, and they take their daughter's partners through such vigorous steps of acceptance, because they know that men are not good people. Even Something Soweto released a song about how men are the same. This was a song dedicated to his daughter. Yes, men are not the same, but men are the same. So you cannot believe their lies and so forth. So it is funny how it takes men to become fathers or brothers to actually realize that, yeah, men are they're not great people, or to actually admit even this phenomenon of the brother not wanting their friend to date their baby sister or their big sister, whatever. It comes from a place of knowing that, no, like, it's not a great experience to deal with this guy. I know how he is with his other girlfriends. So we're going to be out here pretending like when you just leave the house you can find a good man. It's not that way, and you know it too, and we see it in how you behave around other men when it comes to the female members in your families. I'm going to dive into why I am disagreeing with Nandi's point. I remember a few months ago I saw a video of a guy saying that Instagram is a dating app, and I fully agree, because essentially people go to the app to find out what kind of life you live, and based on that they treat you accordingly. And particularly men, if they ask you for your IG, they want to see, are you a person that goes out to particular places, what kind of brands do you buy, and then based on that it excites them or it makes them disinterested in the person that you are. Unfortunately, that very phenomenon ruins the experience of the dating pool in its entirety, because a person doesn't really want to learn the type of person that you are, but they're interested in what you have or what you can bring to this relationship. In our chat of how women love the hype, they love the lifestyle, we're just ignoring the fact that men love the same thing. And they like the shiny things, but they get very upset when it is time to pay for it, or when they find out or realize that they cannot afford it in the long run. This happens on both Instagram or other social media apps, or it happens in real life where a man loves the hype, or they like the fact that you are hot property, you are wanted by everyone, they like that they can get you. But as soon as they get into this relationship with you, they want to complain about the type of person that you are, knowing very well who you were before all of this. And it really confuses me. You knew very well that this person was an up-to-date person. They want the latest, trendiest thing. They are the type, if someone is saying that Stanley Cup is the must-have item, they want Stanley Cup. If Coach is what is needed, then they want the Coach bag. Now you want to come and complain, whereas you love these things. What I'm saying is that men generally love the optics. They like the fact that if they are in these circles and the lifestyle and hanging around these people, it means that they are also benefiting, because it makes them feel like they have truly arrived. By extension, dating these type of women is a reflection of how well they are doing in life. Hence, they love it so much. There is a build-up of desire, and then when they find out that they cannot get the girl, or when they get the girl and then it hits them that they cannot maintain it, they get upset, and then they go on an app like X. And X is a validation app, because there are a lot of insults there. There are a lot of guys who are in the situation where they want the girl that everyone wants, but they cannot afford her, and it creates so much anger in everyone, and everyone is in agreement. And if you don't believe me about this, there is an account on X that is specifically designed to show who the baddest baddie is of the week. Some of the comments are guys saying that just let me get the bag so that I can bag this high and all these things. We can say that it's a joke, but by the looks of things and how a lot of men are complaining, it seems that they do really want these girls, but they just don't have the resources. And that's where a normal woman comes in, and they need to comfort them, or be the woman that reprimands girls to not be gold diggers, prostitutes, hoes, and actually acknowledge that they have a good man. They like the pretty lady with the clouds. It goes hand in hand. And even if there is a pretty lady that exists in real life or on social media or whatnot, it doesn't matter if they don't have the following or the clout. So it needs to sort of be a relationship of both, so that it can work and they can get the validation that they need for themselves. There has to be a community of people all agreeing that this girl is the it girl, or this girl is beautiful and charismatic. Otherwise, it does nothing for them, because I can tell you there are a lot of beautiful women on social media. There are a lot of beautiful women who live okay lifestyles. It's not flashy or anything, but men will not go for that, because this is essentially not what they're looking for. They want to be a part of something that moves them, that excites them, and they won't admit that. Instead, they will just tell you about how there are no good women existing. So when Nandi said that, I was just perplexed as to what kind of woman she was talking about. That needs to be clear. It really was confusing to a lot of us, and it is very dangerous to push the narrative that a lot of women are gold diggers. A lot of black women are gold diggers because it is a lie. And I just want to say that I don't know what type of circles she is around. And maybe that could be why it is not a well-informed observation from her, because she does work in media and entertainment, and maybe she is exposed to these type of women. But knowing what I know in my communities and, you know, like the everyday life I live, a lot of women around me live very normal lives, and they are not looking for the 1% men. They don't even know of a 1% man. They don't even want a man who's chasing the bag and who wants to buy them the latest Louis. So the grace that she is asking black women to give already exists.
I'm saying this because there's been a couple of people that have been asking me, hi, what do you think about, the Nandi situation, giving men grace and everything? And my take on it is it's too online. Kumvu Kendall Roy, go Succession, I said, you're too online. You've lost context. It's too online. I do understand it from Nandi's point of view because she's a wealthy woman coming from a wealthy home, married to a wealthy man. So the only way she has access to poor or just the normal folk is through the internet. Little does she know that on the internet, poor to normal people act quite a lot. They act like bona bafika kwezo flat bamuvela kuzo. They have all the furniture. They act like they never do 50-50s in relationships. They act like they're these gold diggers when they're actually not. They act like abacengi matata when they actually do. When in real life, siyayazi, ninika more than grace amadoda. UNandi akayazi ba ezi moto nidrotshwa ngazo ezirenkini zezenu. UNandi akayazi loo nto leyo. UNandi akayazi into yokubana nithengela amadoda iquantum ngelo xesha wena wehla usenyuka ngegets ene-gearbox emanisifa. UNandi akayazi loo nto leyo. UNandi akayazi into yokubana the stats speak for themselves, by the way. The stats actually say that amantombazana are dominating when it comes to house ownership. UNandi akayazi uba niyena izilobolo ogqiba nithathe la makhembe ncamadoda niwafake ezindlini ogqiba nithi ngiyabonga gaba ngokungenza umuntu.
The woman that gave the grace that she is asking women to give exist, but I don't think that she is immediately exposed to them. She does live a somewhat affluent lifestyle. We all know that her husband is Zex Bantwini and he is raking it. He is making millions of rands. And I think that it sort of blinds her to other things that are happening. I think that she is consuming some things that are happening on X or whatever's happening around her. But when she talks about that grace and that man who is trying, that man who's trying is probably living in the township and seeing the life that is lived in the township. Not a lot of women are influencers or want the big things, and if they do, they are the woman that every man wants and every man is excited by and is hot property. And I'm sorry for saying property. Women are not property. It's just how I want to convey the fact that it's not based on love. It's not based on I really like this person, I want to build with her. It's based on the fact that they both mutually want to elevate their image. When you so badly want to get with the baddie, then you sort of take their standards and then make them everyone else's standards. That is very upsetting and it is very dangerous, because these men who are complaining and who are siding with Nandi and saying that, yes, we're so tired of these women wanting the most expensive restaurants and so forth. When you went to a particular person's IG, you saw that she went to these big restaurants and she's carrying the latest bags, and she is the person who cares about what type of makeup Mihlali is wearing, and you like that. And then you also don't consider that 2 houses down, 3 houses down in your street, there is Zanele, who is making an honest living, who has the education status, like she has maybe the degree, she has a stable job, she's a normal person just like you, but that is not who you want. And because that is not who you want to be mean to everyone else, and you want to talk about the fact that these women want this and that, but you're not clarifying that there is a type of woman that you are going for or you really want to be with. It's a problem because you are being dishonest. You're not saying that I do not want Zanele because she's too boring for me and she will not do anything to sort of elevate the fact that I have made it. I'm Mr. Big Shot now. You know, that's with that Han that is an influencer or influencer adjacent, meaning that she just likes things. You know, that's with her. You have to sort of pay to even get a smidget of attention from her. You know good and well that that influencer that you want so bad, you have to give a bit of money or anything that sort of proves that you can provide for her. And you need to have that. You need to acquire that first. And then you come back and then you rave about it. And then now everyone else needs to be upset on your behalf. And funny enough, when it comes to the woman who gives grace, she is not in a position to ask you for anything. For example, let's say she's just not the type of person to ask for the new bag or trips to wherever. She's not demanding. Let that woman who has grace ask for money to travel somewhere. Let that woman who gives grace ask for maybe essentials. Maybe she ran out of her deodorant or whatnot and her money is tight. Let her ask for that. Then it's ad hoc hands. Then it's where is her father? So when you ask for very little, it is an insult to men because how dare you ask for little? Why do you not have? But as soon as you ask for a lot, they scramble to sort of see if they can give you that, and if they cannot, then they want to complain to everyone else. And I just want to know, when you guys do this, how do you think it makes other women look? Because essentially women do want relationships. They want them very, very bad, and you guys always remind us of that every single day. Is it not that whenever a woman talks, it's like, where is your ring? Where's your husband? You can't keep a man. No man will ever marry you. Like, everything comes down to, are you married? Are you married? Are you married? So given that if we presumably need marriage so bad to determine our value, then why is it that many men are complaining about being single? Why is it that they are not able to beg women and make them wives? If our social value as women lies in being chosen, getting the ring, then imagine how horrible our long-term relationships have been when dealing with men, that a lot of us are opting out of wanting marriage. Why is it that you guys are sort of positioning yourselves as people who want it badly when everyone knows that you don't? You think marriage is a scam. And women try very hard to make sure that the relationship works. The relationship is not all about money. They try to show you that they have the empathy, they have the understanding. Then you spit in their faces. Then you go for the person that satisfies you in all these aspects, socially, sexually, and soothing your ego. You want to go for them, and then when it all dries up, when you realize that it is something that you cannot keep up with, you come and then you complain. How must everyone else receive it? How must everyone else see it? My final complaint is that there is the manosphere, and it is rotting the young man's mind, especially black boys. I don't see why they don't really have the proper amount of panic around this, because they're so quick to point out that men are not supported in these things about mental health, men's mental health, and the suicide rates, but they're looking to women to help them. That is very unfair. We also have our own causes. We are fighting our own fights. The femicide rates are very high, but you'll never see someone ask Andrew Tate what he's doing about the mental health, because they don't want to hold each other accountable, and they don't want to hold the people that they look up to accountable to the amount of harm that they're causing in our societies, especially black men. A lot of black men, they are very hardworking. I acknowledge that. A lot of them are successful. A lot of them are educated, which is wonderful. But a lot of them are not taught social skills, how to communicate and interact and be in relationships with women, and not only romantically. And this is evident whenever there is an argument between a woman and a man on X. Men are so quick to insult, men are so quick to call you an HOE, to call you ugly, to sort of research what it is that you're going through and tell you this is why you're a baby mama, this is why your dad left you. They're so quick to do that. But because I am talking about romance, there is this need to just humble women. In the dating scene, it's just humble woman, humble woman, humble woman. And you move like that. You are mean, you are rude, you are not easy or nice to be around, but everyone must make room for you and understand that you have really bad experiences that you lived through and you have this trauma. But why must we take the pain, and why must we accept it? And when you go and become a pickup artist your whole life, what do you expect will happen essentially? I pointed this out to someone on X, that you cannot both be broke and insufferable and think that women will want to be around you. Yes, it is a method of manipulation, and I do see that a lot of like these masters of pickup artists, the courses of how you should disregard women, you should not care a damn about women because they're subhuman. I understand that these are taught, but they're not sustainable. It doesn't work in the long run because your options will dry out. You are not a sex machine. You are not here to only pleasure yourself. You are a human being too, and you need to seek out partners who also have that emotional intelligence, but are also emotionally present. If you want that partner, you need to be that partner. You cannot go through the world being mean and harsh, and you violent, and you are your partner's biggest hater. It does not, like, if you continue on that path, you're going to miss out on very amazing women. Yes, you will still get women, but we're talking about quality. And if you're complaining that everyone wants you for money, but if that is the only thing that you can give, and you cannot give comfort, you are not considerate, you're not thoughtful, you're not consistent, who is supposed to be yours? And why is it owed to you that you do need the girlfriend? There is a huge gap, and I feel like men are failing each other. There are not enough mentors in terms of teaching men to become better people, well-rounded people. There are a lot of mentors in terms of business, making money, saving or whatnot. But even in that regard, I really am struggling because a lot of men, as soon as they make money, they want to go out to the clubs and enjoy because, you know, I don't know, like you want to celebrate and you deserve it, you earned it. But if it happens month after month, who is to blame? Is it the woman that you're spending on? Is it the fact that they want this in exchange for this?
A lot of niggas, I've been seeing people sharing, talking about how much they want a Nandi Matita. Hey, Nandi Matita, hey, get yourself a Nandi Matita in life. A Nandi Matita kanjani when you don't even have half of the characteristics or the traits that Zex Bantwini has. Wena Mjalifa, wena Sipho, week in and week out, weekend, bekeli beke. Futhi, that's your saying, bekeli beke. Phuzana namayeneke nitlhogekima nomkhabo omkhulu omayeneke na fake. You know the Zex Bantwini, dog. You move weird, you move differently. You don't have any goals. The only thing you know is just to talk crap on social media, pal, and reposting and retweeting shit without even understanding or without even going deeper into context and getting the necessary information out of each and every podcast or what Nandi Madida was saying. We want women like Nandi Madida. Do you have the characteristics of a Zex Bantwini? Nah, Mtepana. No, you don't. That's your pedagogy. Ujwala, amantombazani, ukulwela izindlu enashela bomamenu, ukulwela, like, it's just useless stuff.
It's time that you hold other men accountable, the people in your circles accountable for the fact that they do not show up for you the way you need them to. Stop blaming women for the fact that you are lonely, because why is your loneliness based on the fact that you're not having enough sex? They need to start holding their friends accountable for not being there for them and not being able to express themselves about the challenges that they're facing mentally, emotionally, and all the traumas that they have to deal with. It cannot be that every time you tell a story about something that happened in your past, in your childhood, your friends all laugh at it. You need to be comforted. You are a human being. So I don't know, man. I just feel like there is something deeper that is happening, but you're trying to distract yourself with the alcohol and the groove, but it doesn't add up to anything. The fact that a lot of people cannot sit still in their houses and just get normal girlfriends is a concern, but no one wants to talk about that. They just want to map out every woman as a gold digger, and that is not true, especially black women. Black women are, I think, one of the group of women that accept black men as they are and meet them where they are, and they are willing to build, because essentially we want better for the community. We want the marriage as per suggested, we want the kids and the picket fence and so forth. But if you do not show up to the party, I mean, too bad, so sad. You cannot then blame other people for the decisions that you're making and for the types that you really are going for. Thank you so much for watching this video. I cannot imagine it being controversial in any way, and I cannot imagine it reaching any like big number or anything, because my videos don't do too well in terms of views. But I really hope that it is not taken as an attack. I'm just pointing out that there are truths that we are ignoring because we want to coddle men and we want to tiptoe around the fact that they are not stable themselves, but they want stability from places that cannot provide them that. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.